You know, before Tudor and the likes of him, to be honest, the people who broke the rules, ballet was strictly an operatic spectacle. It was a decorative art form, if you will. You know, they were made in the times of Gothic theater. They were made in the times of the Romantic era. They were made in times of classical music. So there was a lot of use of allegory and a lot of use of symbolism, and you know, frankly, pretty much everyone was dead or a fairy or a swan or a mythical beast of some form.
Instead of always using princes and enchanted princesses, gypsies, forlorn little dryads and sylphs, we could come to grips with people and types that are familiar to us in everyday life. We didn't have to make ballets about royalty, you know, or exotic folk. We could choose characters from middle classes if we wanted to. We could even make a ballet about the girl living next door. This is a girl from a good family fallen on hard times, but preserving an order of respectability on the surface. You can see she is subject to all the inner disturbances man is heir to.
We talk about body language now. Tudor was doing body language in ballet years ago.
He looked for a dancer to get past themselves. Well, that's not really that's not my good side, or, you know, you have to get way past that. So it was the actor, I think, or the potential to be a silent, believable actor.
Yeah? Let's get that in the bodies. One is here, two is there, yeah? But you're doing one.
So, well, clearly Nora Kay was his first muse, well, here, on these shores. And then, of course, I would say the next big protege, it was Sally Wilson.
He taught you how to go in deep into a character. And it wasn't just acting, because it has to be in the movement. And the movement had to be that woman doing that part. He made you search for expression rather than mannerism. And to dance his ballets, that's what you need.
It's been about 5 generations. If you start with Nora in the 40s and 50s, and then Sally in the 50s and 60s, and then Gelsey in the 70s, and myself in the 80s, and Amanda McCarroll, and Susan Jaffe, Robert Hill, Leslie Brown, all those people who existed during those times. And now the 5th generation are the people who never worked with him, who are learning his lessons through his work.
Okay, can we stop for a second? Yeah, just relax, it's okay. I think what happens is that diagonal gets too short, it has to be sharper down towards the center.
Lilac Garden was the first principal character role that I learned in a Tudor ballet, and Sally taught that to me. And every movement was just thoroughly described. At that point, I was probably still a teenager, if not very young 20-year-old. So, of course, I was very, very much a sponge and very patient, because I was so thrilled to have the privilege to have that experience.
Good, yes, good.
In Jardin, there's several times when Caroline hides her face. So the difference between just putting your hand this way or putting your hand this way is a visual difference in what that means. That is what people that are trying to preserve his work are searching for. That it's just not a hand on your face, it's that it says the exact meaning of what Mr. Tudor wanted.
Yes, there we go. Yeah. Now, heart. That's it. And trajectory forward. Now, forward again. Forward.
Julie is a wonderful conduit for Tudor. There's There's a full-blown artist there and a mind at work.
Yes, exactly. That's beautiful, yeah.
What do I expect of my students? I suppose roughly the same thing that all teachers expect of their students and all choreographers expect from the dancers they're working on, which is that they shall be treated as God. That is the first thing. But of course, if you're going to be God, you've got to have all your children and treat them as children, which they are. And you've got to train them to be sensitive to everything you want, whether it's the shape of a muscle, the shape of a foot, the shape of an arm progressing through space, the feel of the air around them, the sound of the music, not to listen to it, but to hear it.
Through the years, Tudor's influence was felt on literally generations of choreographers, from Agnes de Mille to Jerome Robbins, to Glenn Tetley, to Elliot Feld. But one of the most interesting connections was someone from afar who really never really worked with him, and that was Yuri Killian. And he wrote me a letter, and here it is. It occurred that after the Netherlands Dance Theater's first appearance at City Center in New York, Tudor was not only present, but he insisted on seeing me in person. I was warned that Mr. Tudor was a very sarcastic critic of dance and choreography, and that the experience of meeting him after a show could result in devastating aftershocks and permanent damage. But in my case, the contrary was true. I felt very embraced, understood, and sheltered by him. In fact, he told me he felt I was his artistic grandson. In life, Tudor frustrated scores of dancers and inspired as many others. He did all that for the love of dance. On the one hand, his psychological ballets explore our extreme emotionalism. On the other hand, he embraces the Zen Buddhist philosophy of denying all that emotionalism that he crafted and promoted with such vigor. All his critics and fans must rejoice by recognizing him as remarkable, unusual, controversial, and inspiring. He should always be remembered and celebrated. Certainly, he will always be remembered and appreciated by me.
It's up to us who love Tudor's work to see that it lasts and that it's with us for a long time. We talk about Tudor being immortal, and he is, of course. That is, he has the possibility of being. But we have to keep it that way. When we see his work, we see not only a work of art, but facets of life itself, wider, larger, and we see ourselves larger, more important, bigger, more valuable. The horizon stretched out and out and out because he made a statement of absolute truth.